Matters starts now.
Hey, good evening, Business Matters. Welcome to the 21st century. This is going to be a great show. We're talking about the evolution of what's going on in this world relative to the 21st century. We're talking about robotic surgery, driverless vehicles. We even talked about your cows.
Are we actually in the 21st century?
Yes, we are. Well, we were talking about cows.
I didn't know that.
But Dr. Martin Martino, I'll tell you what you do fascinates me in the fact that you're doing surgery really robotically. And can you just touch real quickly on what that's about at,
Sure.
at 30,000 feet?
Sure. So we're able to offer minimally invasive surgery to our patients, and we're able to use this new technology, which is a robotic arm, and we're able to care for our patients through this minimally invasive approach. And you can see this has articulation, which means that the instruments are moving like this, as opposed to the older way, which was straight sticks.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right.
So, and we also get to see it with 3D vision. So the benefit of having a computer now between us and our patients allows us to see with 3D and articulation.
So is it a better procedure than if
our
the
outcomes,
docs right there, your outcomes?
Well, we're still right there, but our outcomes have clearly demonstrated across our multiple service lines a reduction in complications, decreased length of stay, and all in all, a better outcome for our patients.
If only it does a couple buttons and I get my pocket knife out, could you give us a demo?
So Sam, we're going to talk about you. You're getting into just diving into this driverless vehicle, which is the wave of the future, particularly on the commercial side.
Sure. We manufacture work zone safety trucks. So what it is when there's someone setting cones on the highway to close a lane off or painting lines on the highway, we build the trucks that are actually behind that crew and meant to be crashed into by drunk drivers, by people that are texting and driving, so that it saves the workers in front of them.
Okay.
So our theory was, why make a truck that someone's meant to sit in and drive that's meant to be hit? Why would you make someone do that? So we actually are launching the world's first completely autonomous truck at the end of this month in London.
But is this a stationary? Is this more of a barrier, or does it actually?
It's a barrier, but it moves. So when the guys are setting cones on the highway, let's say on 476 to close a lane off, that truck is moving, and then our truck follows it.
Save manpower. That's a really good point. Brian Slocum, you're looking for entrepreneurs. Is that correct? That might come up. Go ahead. Tell me what from Lehigh's University's perspective. Is that correct?
Yep. So I run our additive manufacturing lab at Lehigh, which, you know, everybody's maybe heard the term 3D printing. Additive manufacturing is the same thing. So we run our lab at Lehigh, and so we're looking at what's happening in the future with additive. Additive's changing. It's changing incredibly rapidly. Just the last 5 years, there's been huge developments in different technologies.
So for our viewers, they can understand. Well, give me something that's a new change that just really impressed you, that speaks to this 21st century economy.
So there's two big examples. Aerospace and healthcare are the two biggest motivators in the additive manufacturing industry now. Aerospace loves it because what they're able to do is 3D print specific geometries, which make those geometries lighter, and that saves a lot of aircraft fuel.
Okay.
On the healthcare side, they're actually able to 3D print everything from hip implants, which allows bone growth to grow in.
So they print them. I want to get into that in a little bit. Ron, we talked about your cows being born. Where are you in all that?
Life's simple up on the farm. Here's my highest level of technology. I have no computer. We raise grain and hay. The cows eat it. They go potty. We put it in a manure spreader, put it back in the field. We raise more corn and grain. They have a calf. We raise it up. It's a cow. Life is simple.
Very good point. So here we are in the 21st century, though, and I want to get back to you, Dr. Martino. That, again, why so less invasive? I guess, how do we get into this business, for lack of a better term? Why all of a sudden?
So the technology has eventually caught up with the space. And you know, when I was training, we would do mostly open incisions, large incisions where patients had, you know, were in the hospital for many, many days.
Okay.
And eventually, this was the first.
Is that because, for lack of a better term, I hate to say that the human hand had to have access to the organ?
And we still do, and sometimes we do, but have to be inside.
Sure.
But in urology and our gynecology service lines, initially we realized, you know what, that when we can do minimally invasive surgery, perhaps we could have better outcomes. And we've learned now across our network that we have 10 different service lines offering this.
So real quick, better outcomes, meaning less hospital
less
time,
complications, less transfusion, less infection, fast return to work, which is better for our patients.
When you first started doing it, did you think, oh my God, I can't?
In fact, when I first started, I thought this was the technology that would be there, and I was recruited here, you know, to perform this. Didn't even want to know about the robotic arm.
This is going to be an incredible show. We're going to talk about the future. What's happening in this world today? Stay with us, Business Matters. Be right back.
You're watching Business Matters, because if it's business, it matters. Want to enjoy the show on the go? Subscribe to our podcast. Go to www.wfmz.com/Business Matters for more information. Now, back to Tony Iannelli.
Hey, we are back. Business Matters, and I got my friend Ira Wolf here, and I got to tell you, people don't know this, but we did something good for the community. We had an auction, and you won, and now you get to hang around with me and co-host. It's got to be the thrill of a lifetime, I would think.
And I had to pay to stand with you.
Isn't that the truth? Some people. But hey, out there, if you have $1 million, we're interested. So, Ira, you got a question? This is an incredible show, and the topic's unreal. Fire away.
No, absolutely. It's been fascinating. One of the area that we focus on is small and medium-sized businesses. That's what we do. We help them hire better people, but it's rapidly changing. Every one of these technologies is disrupting the workforce. So how have you seen, especially in healthcare, I mean, finding nurses, how has that changed the skill sets, getting training, 3D printing, additive printing? How has that changed things?
Yeah, that's a good point. You better be pretty bright to get in the market today. And while he's saying that, Martin, how did you want to, at the beginning of this, before you got in this specialty, you were going to be an oncologist and a doc, and that's...
Yeah, I'm a cancer surgeon.
Yes.
And as part of that, our job is to help cure patients for cancer. And if there's not, then to try and help provide them quality of care. When we make big incisions on people, sometimes we're not able to do that. And that's where we emphasize the minimally invasive approach. For the medium-sized businesses, to answer your question, how have we been able to help those businesses? I would say without question, our patients are able to get back to work sooner. So rather than being out in a nursing home for a couple months or rehab, 2 to 3 weeks recovery, whether it's lung surgery or abdominal surgery too.
Go ahead, Ron.
I think what he's trying to say is, see, up on the farm we think a lot different. What I think you're trying to say is this technology changes people's jobs and what you have to learn to be able to now do a new job.
Oh, that too.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's much more skill.
So a new workforce, you deal with that. Is there a new workforce coming?
Absolutely, and that's what we're training our students at Lehigh to be prepared and understand additive manufacturing and how it changes the future. Small, medium businesses, it used to be that you have to go into a huge manufacturing production line in order to get parts out. You'd have to invest lots of money in tools and molds. We can now just directly 3D print that end result product, and that saves a lot of time and money.
Unreal.
Quick question, robots. Going to be more and more robots?
Yeah, I mean, that's essentially what a 3D printer is.
That's the future's robots. So now you've got a guy who lost his job who used to make the ball bearing. What's he going to do?
And I think one of the things that people miss is that convergence of this. So I know we're going to have drones on in a few minutes, but basically we're talking healthcare, we're talking 3D printing, we're talking drones. The reality is what happens when a drone delivers the atrial fibrillator to the patient, because it can get there faster than the ambulance and the paramedics.
Oh, well,
and it's controlled remotely.
You still, in the healthcare side, there still, has to have that physician-patient engagement. Has to be.
Mark, will there come a time where you'll see a physician will be able to do operations from afar?
In the not too distant future.
Right. So you could be, if they want you and they're in whatever Sioux City, you could do that.
We started down the telehealth path already with telemedicine, but telesurgery is, I think, the future.
Could you milk Ron's cow from afar? That's
They're actually doing that already.
I got a calf hung up the first time after. I'm having trouble getting the calf out. What could you do for me? My drone.
He'll be hot. Sam, so I'm trying to get, so is your truck a real truck, or is it just a, I'm trying to get what you make. You make a truck, which is a good idea that in effect is a barrier and that will save lives. Correct?
Correct,
Is it cheaper than the normal truck?
It is currently not cheaper than the normal truck,
Okay. Right.
but
Well,
it really doesn't matter because it's going to save lives,
Yeah.
right? So if your daughter, for example, is driving a truck that's meant to be plowed into by a semi-driver that falls asleep, you don't want that to happen.
Right.
So we made that driverless. In terms of recruiting, we have waves of students now from Lehigh University engineers that are coming in because we're working with military, technology that makes every plane that flies over the war into a drone. So we use that exact same technology to upfit into our truck to make that driverless. So we have students that look into hacking, right? What if something that's autonomous gets hacked? We have students that are looking into the engineering of all that
Good point.
technology.
So someone could grab your truck, for instance, talk about hijacking.
Well, they can't. They can't.
No,
we
not
have
yours.
passed that test.
Not yours.
But,
No, I'm saying, I shouldn't say it. But that would be...
autonomous technology, that is
That's right.
That's a problem.
So beyond that, on the
Why this
transition.
makes a lot of sense, Tony. Most people would never know this. More highway workers are killed every year than police officers. By
It's
big
actually
numbers.
the equivalent of 747s going down every month.
Yeah.
That's how many people
Highway
are
workers
killed
are
on the highway.
big,
Yep.
high risk.
So as far as some of the jobs, I mean, you're taking the mechanic,
Yep.
and now we're saying that he needs to have the knowledge, he or she needs to have the knowledge to understand technology, programming, coding, how security.
It's unbelievable. Yeah, and we actually send people now to help and get trained down with the military technology. They're headquartered out of Florida, but the minds and how they work it's completely different than the interns we have for, let's say, marketing on social media.
Well, and these are the people that you're looking for, right? From your Lehigh perspective.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
So give me another one. Come on, give me something. You got something? Don't you have someone that
you
came
want
up
to know
with
something that can completely blow your mind?
Yes,
There's a
yes.
company out there printing human livers.
Oh, there you go.
Wow.
From the ground up. So
Printing.
And to the point, they're
That
at the point now,
function-
a functioning human
No,
liver.
I can't wrap
that's
They've
my...
actually
wild.
sold them to drug companies already for drug trial testing. They're saying
Wow.
within 5 years it's going to be implantable into
Do you
the
want the
human
farm
body.
one for this?
Yeah.
Years ago, there was oodles of little farmers, 50, 60 milk head. Today, the average dairy farmer is 3,000 or 4,000 head. By computer, he milks 24 hours a day. He knows the butter fat. He knows when the cow's coming in fresh. He knows when he has to breed the cow. And he knows when he has to call the glue factory because it's not giving enough milk to make it worth there.
Yeah.
That's a
That's amazing
computerized farm.
technology.
That's not my farm now,
Absolutely.
mind you.
I got to tell you,
But
but
that's-
I have to say, so far you've got the most advanced farm right there. I think he ends up being the tech guy in this whole thing.
His interns love
Brian,
him.
that's good. You mentioned 2 industries. How is it going to affect construction? I mean, I just saw, and I don't know how realistic this is, but that they printed a 3D home.
Yep.
In 10 hours,
Yep.
1,500 square feet.
Yep.
So crazy.
So, it's just a different way of looking at additive manufacturing. That's one of the things we're challenging our students to do all the time. So it's actually extruding concrete layer by layer, just like all 3D printing things are.
I have a quick question for you, Dr. Martino. So you save lives. I mean, you're in the oncology business, which is not an easy. It's number one, thank you for that. I guess you're in that because you want to beat cancer.
Right.
Kudos to Lehigh Valley Hospital for being open to this whole. I assume there's an investment in this whole thing, and not everyone wants to make it.
Right. Well, we started in 2007 to start to think about this, and I had seen this technology coming and saw tremendous outcomes at some of our research meetings, and went to our leadership and asked them for this technology, and thankfully they said, you know what, this is a space we should be in, and we moved ahead. We started with 1 robot. Now we have 5 robots in our health network at our multiple campuses, and 32 surgeons across the whole team. So now we've really brought in expert surgeons and a great team of people to work and add jobs and technology.
Are you now seen as the coolest doctor in Lehigh Valley? I mean, does everyone want to hang around with you, I guess is the question.
No comment.
All right, Ira, you paid some dough for this. Take us out to commercial. Go, give it a shot.
And stay tuned. Come on back. We're going to continue the show, and next up is drones.
I'll be gone if he keeps that up. I'll be out of here.
You're watching Business Matters, because if it's business, it matters.